loss, acidity, bloating, flatulence, immunity, disease, I would say almost about 90% of almost every single disease or ailment or the inability to lose weight is caused by poor lifestyle, which also means that you can correct the same by making a change in your lifestyle. I think almost everyone today in that endeavor to lose weight and gain back their health focuses on exercise, focuses on diet and food, and that's all good, but we're still stuck. So many people out there are still stuck when it comes to losing that body fat or losing that weight. So many people are still stuck with acidity and thyroid issues and things that can, develop into more dangerous ailments like cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular problems. A bigger problem that we have today are children who are getting obese. India is the second largest nation when it comes to obese children. And it's not the fault of the children. We have to take responsibility. It is the fault of our healthcare system, our schools, and our parents. Anyway, I want to make a mind shift change in everyone watching this program today. Let's move away from just looking at our diet and exercise programs. We have to start looking into the way our body works. And today I want to talk about why we shouldn't eat. We shouldn't have our meals when we're stressed. Am I telling you go hungry? No. I'm telling you to understand why you shouldn't eat while you're talking on the phone to someone, while you're having an argument, while you're having a working lunch or lunches, meetings over lunch and all of that stuff. Because today we're going to understand exactly why your body doesn't break down that food and why it stores as fat. We have to understand that we have a nervous system called the autonomic nervous system, and there are two parts of that. There's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, all of us know that the sympathetic nervous system is your fight and flight response. We need it. We need to be stressed at times so that we constantly are able to handle everything that's happening in life. So in your sympathetic nervous system, your body is activated to handle stress, to handle anything that's happening in your life which causes stress. So if you go back to evolution, you were either running from a tiger or a tiger was chasing you, or there were wars and all of these external stress factors where your body gets activated into a sympathetic nervous system. Now, what happens in the human body when your sympathetic nervous system is activated? You need to understand this very, very clearly. The moment your body activates your sympathetic nervous system, your adrenal glands, your adrenal medulla part gets activated and hormones are released into your blood. Hormones to contract your muscles to enable you to fight or to run or to face the stress that your body has now been indicated with. Okay, what also happens is your blood pressure rises. What also happens is your blood sugar levels rise because your muscles release glycogen that is stored in the muscles back into glucose, into blood glucose, which is now put into your blood so that you have more energy. So basically, when you are stressed or when you're in your sympathetic nervous system, your digestion shuts down, okay, to conserve energy. Your immunity is compromised because your immunity uses a lot of energy. But when you're in a stressful situation, your body requires energy for that situation, which is either the fight or flight response. So your immunity is compromised, your digestion shuts down, your mouth stops producing saliva, which means your digestive enzymes are also not being produced. What also happens is your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, and your blood sugar levels increase because your muscles release and convert glycogen into blood sugar, which goes into glucose, which goes into your sugar levels. So now, if you are stressed and if you are sitting down to eat a meal with already high blood pressure, with already more glucose in your blood, with your digestion shut off, with the lack of saliva and the lack of digestive enzymes, guess what? You are not digesting your food, and we all know what happens when your food doesn't get digested. Acidity, flatulence, bloating, indigestion, which results into poor colon health, leaky gut over time, IBS, all gut issues that you can possibly think of, depletion of your vitamins, depletion of your minerals, malabsorption of the nutrients from the food that you eat into your cells. Because you cannot digest food when the sympathetic nervous system of your body is activated. Now let's move to the parasympathetic nervous system. That is also called the rest and digest phase. Your body can only rest and digest when your parasympathetic nervous system is activated, which means you'll start producing more saliva, which means that gives a clue to your system to start producing more digestive enzymes. It is digestive enzymes that help you digest food and break down food without excess stomach acid stimulation. Now, the food that you eat can properly be digested, nutrients can be extracted and transported to all your cells that need them. So your digestion is complete. Everything from your stomach, from the time you put food into your mouth to your stomach to your colon, works efficiently. Now, unfortunately, you cannot be in both these sympathetic and parasympathetic systems at the same time. You are either in the sympathetic nervous system or you are in the parasympathetic nervous system. So when you are stressed, eating at that point is actually going to cause more harm to you, which is why emotional eating, when we eat, when we're emotionally stressed or we're stressed and we eat, we're looking for the sugar and salt fix because it gives us a little more energy. It puts a little more blood glucose into our blood and we feel energetic, and then we have a crash and we eat more. But there is no digestion happening and we are actually depleting our health. So what's the solution? Let's come back to the sympathetic nervous system. For example, right now you're anxious about something. The moment you are a little bit anxious, guess what happens? Your sympathetic nervous system gets stimulated, your adrenal glands get stimulated, cortisol and hormones are released into your blood, and exactly what I told you happens in the fight and flight response is happening in your body. So at this point, you are actually shutting off digestion. Even a little bit of anxiety, anger, negative emotions, arguments, debates, anything that puts your body into a stressful situation. Okay, you're speaking to someone, it's a situation, it's someone you don't like talking to, you're anxious, you're guarded, you are in the fight and flight response. You will not digest your food correctly. So does this mean you go hungry if you're stressed throughout? No, there is a way of recentering yourself. And how do you move from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system almost immediately? With the power of oxygen, with your breath. Every time you take one whole complete inhale and a complete exhale, you recenter the way your body and your nervous system works. So if I'm stressed right now and I want to eat my lunch, I'm going to take 4 to 6 deep breaths, recenter myself, help my body switch off sympathetic nervous system and activate parasympathetic nervous system. So I move from the fight and flight into the rest and digest. People, this is exactly what mindful eating is, which is why we encourage you to break away from TV programs, break away from watching the news, break away from working lunches. When you eat, you have to be in an environment of peace. It could be in your office, you could be talking to your friends, having a good time, that's great. But you have to be eating when your body is not under stress. Because no matter how good your diet is, no matter how well you're exercising, it is these things that matter the most. It is your lifestyle that matters the most, which is why almost everyone is still struggling with disease and weight loss, because we're focusing on the wrong things. We're constantly focusing on the surface. We're just scratching the surface. We're not going beneath the surface and understanding how the body works. So now for all of those who like or enjoy guilt eating, where you're eating an ice cream and you're all guilty, you're already in the sympathetic nervous system. Do not eat with guilt. Even if it's the worst food, eat it and enjoy it if you truly want to have it. Be in the parasympathetic nervous system when you are eating the foods that you love the most. So if you're going to eat that piece of cake or that ice cream with guilt, guess what? It is going to create a problem for you because you are not in the rest and digest phase of digestion. You have to understand that it is all about hormones. Weight loss is about communication between your cells. It doesn't care how much of exercise you're doing in your body or how well you're eating. It is about communication. You give your cells the right food, they communicate the right way. You give it the right physical activity, it has the right circulation. You give it the fuel it needs to communicate between each other, and it is communication because everything is hormone related. You have the right hormones, you have the right amount of saliva. You have the right amount of saliva, you have lipase and amylase, which starts digesting carbohydrates and fat in your mouth, which takes away digestive stress from your stomach, which reduces acidity, bloating, and all of your gut issues. So it's extremely important to center yourself before every meal that you have. And this is a special shout out to diabetics as well, people struggling. It is not just about your sugar levels. You got to think beyond just your sugar levels and your reports and the medication that's keeping your sugar levels below 120. It is not about that. It is about eating, again, under stressful situation. If you are diabetic and you are eating your meals under stress, you are starting your meals with already an elevated blood sugar level. Because in the sympathetic nervous system, your muscles are releasing glycogen into your blood and increasing your blood sugar levels. So a simple tip right now for everyone, especially diabetics, is eat mindfully. Change your environment while you eat. Yeah, everyone's busy. Everyone's got an excuse when it comes to having to be busy or pretending to be busy to seem important and all of these things. Put that 15 minutes or 20 minutes when it comes to your meal aside for you. Look at some of the best cultures in the world, starting from the French to the Italians to everyone. They take a complete break for their lunch and their dinner. It is a moment of enjoyment for them where they talk, where they laugh, where they have good family discussions and all of that stuff. Okay, so we need to make these lifestyle changes if you really want to get to the root cause of all the ailments you have, including the inability to lose weight. Remember, the sympathetic nervous system is your fight and flight response. Even a phone call that we don't enjoy is going to put us in the sympathetic nervous system. A thought about an upcoming meeting is going to create anxiety. We are going to be in the sympathetic nervous system. The thought about having to go home and get your kids dressed and for tuitions and all of that stuff. We are constantly living in the sympathetic nervous system, which is why we have chronic illness starting from thyroid to cardiovascular to cancer to diabetes to PCOD to you name it. All of these are caused by chronic stress because we are constantly in the sympathetic nervous system, and that is not how a human is supposed to live. Yes, the world has changed around us, which means we have to put more effort in the way we decide to live. It is not just about popping pills and getting on diet plans and getting into the gym. It is about learning to live the right way. And yes, I'll tell you right now, everyone has an excuse. Many of you out there would already be judging others and saying, oh, this person has it easier, I have to work 9 hours, I have to work 12 hours. Everyone's life and journey is different, and you have an excuse. Everyone has an excuse. The first thing is to overcome excuses, look into your life and say, how can I make a difference with what I have? It is not about how much you have. It's about what you do with what you have. You may have little and you may make the best out of it compared to people who have so much and don't even utilize a quarter of it. So remember, you want to stay in the rest and digest parasympathetic nervous system. You can reach that system by listening to your favorite song, talking to a friend, being appreciated by others, saying good things to others, making yourself feel valued, feeling valued, or the simplest way is by 4 to 6 deep breaths. You recenter the way your hormones work. Oxygen moves you from your sympathetic to your parasympathetic nervous system, and let me prove how. When you're nervous, when you're stressed, when you're fighting or you're fleeing, you'll find that your oxygen, your breath is very short. You're not taking in deep breaths of oxygen. But when you're calm and you're cooler, you'll find that you take in more and more oxygen. So you can use oxygen to move from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. So there's your pranayama, there's your pranayama, your deep breathing, your meditation. Again, if you do yoga, if you practice meditation and pranayama, let me tell you, spirituality and all these exercises have also become a fad. Because people do their 1 hour of yoga and pranayama and they think they're done for the day. Let the learnings of yoga, let the learnings of pranayama and the focus on breath slip into every hour of your day. It's not about the 1 hour that you're practicing. There are so many people practicing 1 hour of yoga and yet they're so sick. It's about taking the learning and letting it slip into your day, every hour of your day. So when you're stressed, remember pranayama. When you're stressed, remember your breath. When you're stressed, you're dealing with an unpleasant situation, remember, you still have control over your breath. Breathe in more oxygen, exhale more carbon dioxide, recenter your body. Let your cells work for you. It's that simple. Have a good day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep.